Hey guys, welcome back to Kuma Style Reviews. What we're taking a look at is Sentinel's latest, their Riobot line R14 Mazinkaiser. So you can see the box there, the other side, just a big picture of Mazinkaiser. Now one thing I do have to note, don't really go over the instructions often, but for this product, just like all the other products, it does have the do's and don'ts in terms of posability and things like that. Really take a look at that and see how your figure can pose first. There have been reports of breakages and things like that. It's sturdy, but there are some things that it just doesn't do, especially when you connect the Scrander and stuff like that. Just add some weight. Giving you a roundabout there. Like I was saying, that added weight and things like that can lead to breakages if you're trying to pose it incorrectly and this and that. So, yeah. Height-wise, we are looking at just over 8 inches tall. I'd say about 8 1/4. Alright. Polder in his head. Now, it is a little bit loose. It stays for the most part, but you're definitely not going to be shaking this one around or anything like that with it and keep it in. So, during this review, it is going to pop out a couple of times, but static poses and things like that, you won't have to worry about it falling out. Taking a look at its accessories, it comes with quite a few, but necessary. Kaiser swords, Final Kaiser, as well as just the hilts of the swords for that formation out of the shoulders, out of the chest, as well as some effect pieces there. Rocket punch effects. Alright, gigantic missile. Polder, as well as a cover that we'll go over later. That's a back cover. Additional hands and 2 stands for the rocket punches. Just rotate them around so you can get a full view of the accessories. And here is his Scrander. This thing is gigantic. Width-wise, I believe it's about 12.5 inches or so. It's a big boy. Don't know how it's showing up in the video for you guys, but it is a bright cherry red. And we're just taking a look at the posability here. The head, the neck has 2 joints in it. So the neck moves forward and back where it meets the clavicle. And then he has a normal ball joint from the head to the neck. Really tight though, so. You see that first joint I was talking about? The neck's kind of extended up, but it goes forward and backwards. This guy has great ab tilt, so that forward movement of the head and things like that to keep things even. That's a big deal. The shoulders are awesome. Full rotation, really tight. Now those shoulder pieces there, they do have 360 degrees of motion. They are tight, they spin freely, but like I said, they're tight, so they're just not falling around and stuff like that. So when trying to move them, yes, those pieces are gonna fall off at times, but normal circumstances, they do. They stay just fine. But like I said, when you're swinging things around and playing around with it, especially with your arms fully extended like me, you got a little bit more to worry about. Now take a look at his chest there, those pieces. They actually flex inwards, which is amazing because he can reach across himself. Bicep swivel. Now, I think I forgot to look at it, but he does have thigh swivel as well. And you'll see when I'm posing him. Double jointed elbows. Take a look at those pieces right there. They're guards. They are not glued on or anything like that. So just in case they pop off while you're posing and things, just note that they can. So look out for them. I had one fall on the floor. I didn't know what the hell it was. Now, that's where the waist swivels. It swivels where the chest meets the, I guess, ribcage sternum. Not the actual waist itself. That's one of those things, look in the instructions because you will break this piece. Now, he has 2 areas where he has ab crunch, and again, no waist swivel. But he does have that side-to-side swing. It's awesome. Now, his crotch plate here, the sides, they do move. Really high kick. Now, the diecast is going to be in his chest, his legs, and his feet. And it's a nice, good feel to him. Like touching a car. A cold car. You can see he has a good amount of balance there. Didn't take long. Now what's cool is that yes, he's got the extended knee bend and things, but the way that the calves transform, take a look at how they flex out. And then it actually goes inwards, so you can bend his knee even farther back. It's cool. Very posable piece. And at 8 and something inches, man, it's good. Good ankle tilt. Forward foot bend. And that's how you do the wrist. They're not at the actual wrist itself, it's behind it. Big ball joint there. The hands, they just peg in, which is nice, makes it really easy. And I'm surprised, the pegs aren't huge, but they hold in. The friction is really good on them for both the rocket punch and the hands. You can see the Palder fell out. Generic Iron Man pose. There we go. I do wish his waist swiveled at the waist, but, you know, it's what it is. Alright, here's the stand. Now, just like Hulkbusters, breaks into 4 pieces. The reason those back parts aren't coming up is because I have that big stand piece on the back that blocks them. You can just take out any given corners. They all have that hole on them. And those additional stand pieces that I talked about earlier, just take one of those. Get an effect in there on that bottom piece. And that bottom piece is for if you want to peg it into the middle. It's just a peg. And while I'm getting this all put together, again, pump this baby up to 1080p, 60 frames per second. It really pops. I'm loving the video on this new camera. Get them all good and posed here. Don't worry, we're almost done. Not gonna take an hour here. Bam, rocket punch. I love it. I really love it. Now we're gonna take a look at those sword hilts. Getting those Kaiser swords formed. Like I said, they come out of his shoulders as well as his chest for the final Kaiser. And the pieces that you need, they are side specific. So take a look at how they slide in. They're male on one end, female on the other when it comes to the 2 sides. The hilts though and the effects interchangeable. And even those shoulder things themselves, they are side specific the way they fit on. Get that put together, peg it back in. Now as you saw, the effect pieces are separable from the hilt themselves. Everything goes in and comes out really easy. The friction holds very tight, but it comes apart pretty easy, which is cool. Because, you know, knock on wood. Don't know if you heard that, but we're knocking for you. In case you ever do drop it or it falls back or anything like that, it's just going to pop apart. You're not going to have things breaking off because they're in so tight. Take a look at how easy that went back together. Easy peasy. Now we'll go ahead and knock out the final Kaiser formation as well. See, you don't even have to take those shoulder pieces off. You can just slide the ends off. Slide them back on. Easy. While I'm putting this together, my first Mazinkaiser toy, it was the Aoshima. It's also around 8 inches tall. And then from there I upgraded to the Max Gouken Mazinkaiser. Check out the review of those, kumastyle.com. You know, Pictorial, all that good stuff. A little bit older, so pardon the photography not being as good, but it's 3 years ago or so. First got started. Alright. We're going to knock out a few things here. Like I said, the hands, they plug in, plug out, just a peg. I just want to stress again how easy this is. I know it sounds ad nauseum, but it's cool to have a toy with this many accessories and just be able to swap out the pieces and stuff like that without a lot of hassle. Especially a nice piece like this where you're already in fear of things getting broken and this and that. Now when it comes to these hilts or the actual sword hilt, the ends just pop out. Pretty universal. Then you don't have to remove the sword to get the hands on, or remove the hilt from his chest. Alright, it's one side. Getting his left arm in there too. And in the cartoon, he's removed it with one and two hands, but I prefer the two-handed look. Give you a different view there. Look at how far back that hap goes. It's nice. The end of that hilt on. There we go. Alright, the gigantic missile. Again, very simple. That piece flips down, missile pegs in. Taking a look at the Kaiser swords here. I already swapped out the hands because we went over how to do that. Again, they just peg in and peg out. And again, the ends of the hilts just come off. Slide them right through the hands there. Doing some posing, playing around. Get that guy back in. There we go, he's ready. And again, the powder, it pops in, pops out while you're doing a lot of posing and things like that, but while he's standing there and moving him around, it holds in pretty decent. Now we're going about putting the Scrander in. And the connection point is actually something that it's hidden, it's very hidden. And I like how they do the detailing around the slot that you open. But the top part opens up there. Get it to the side so you can see exactly where. Flip out this bottom part. Okay. Put that top part back in. And even though it does come with a cover, it's fairly simple just to get it back in. If you remove the Scrander and just want to hide it, then put it back. Alright, but we're not going to do that because we're putting the Scrander on. Okay. So there we have it. That piece is exposed there, that connection piece. I recommend if you're not putting the Scrander on, either use the cover or just putting it back into the back You don't want it to drop and then that piece breaks or anything. And it just pops on like so. From the side, it's kind of ugly, but if you're looking at it from the back, it's more because it's black on black than anything else, but it looks fine. But that keeps that from being exposed. Bit of a protectant there. Now it uses the same connection as the Scrander itself. So it locks on pretty tight, but just go from underneath. As you saw, remove it at an angle. Okay. Now here's the Scrander. These two flaps right here, they actually lock the connection piece in. So you have to flip those out, and then from there, is that piece there? Use your fingernail, get it out. Alright. You can see I forgot to actually flip those two pieces back in because they also keep it out. But once I get everything connected, actually two connection points, one on that gray piece and then that piece that flips underneath goes in. Alright. You can see I just flipped those two flaps back in too. Alright. Now part of the Scrander, one of the back fins fell off right there, it just pegs right back in. It's no problem. There you have it. Get a more accurate measurement on there. It's about 12 inches. About a foot wide. So still fits in a DTOF, things like that. But maybe not with 5 other toys. Get you a roundabout. And you can see it's standing on its own. I don't like the distance between the bottom of the Scrander. It sits at an angle. I wish it was more flush. It's a nitpick, but don't like it. But like I was saying, you can see it does stand on its own. It can tend to be back heavy if you don't have it in a good balanced pose in the waist and stuff like that. It makes it want to lean back really fast. So be aware, make sure it's planted before you let the thing go. It stands on its own, poses on its own, fine. Showing how to connect it to the stand. And that area, that's part of why it's spaced like that between the Scrander and the back of them, so that stand can go in there. It makes sense, but I wish there was a way to make it more flush when that stand isn't connected. Like I said, that's my nitpick, and having 1 or 2 nitpicks on this awesome piece isn't too bad for me. I'm going to say right now, I recommend the shit out of this thing. I'm going to keep reviewing it, but buy it now. Buy it while you're watching this. Open a new tab. It's awesome. And there it is with the stand. Now we've got the Mazinkaiser sword. Sword itself is over 8 inches, almost 9 inches long. Big sword. But it's made of plastic, so you don't have to worry about die casts or anything like that, or falling, breaking, or killing glass. If it, nothing crazy. But you can see it's standing on its own there. You can get some unique poses with the Scrander on and things. At first I was worried about it, didn't really get the gist of it, but now that I've had time to play with it, it works just fine. It'll be alright. And here it is. A couple of comparisons to other Sentinel bots. I have plenty of super robots that you can see in the back, but use your measurements, do those yourself. But we've got Mazinkaiser, we've got Gurren Lagann, we've got Guy King, as well as Dan Kuga. And you can see all of these products are awesome, solid pieces. Mazinkaiser, it lives up to those standards. It definitely doesn't disappoint. I love it. Check out the full pictorial review on kumastyle.com and see you next time.